Force yourself to start, even when you're tired, unmotivated, and full of doubt, because no one ever changed their life by waiting to feel ready. Action creates the life you want, while hesitation only creates regret. Force your mind to focus and your body to follow, even when nothing inside you feels prepared. You don't need the perfect plan. You need to take the first imperfect step. When you force yourself to take action despite fear, fatigue, or doubt, you unlock a version of you that would have stayed hidden forever if you kept waiting to feel ready. What if the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the action you're avoiding? What if you stopped waiting to feel ready and forced yourself to do what needs to be done right now? How many more dreams will you put on hold because you're stuck in your head, making excuses or waiting for perfect timing? Taking action isn't about motivation. It's about making a decision and following through, even when it's uncomfortable. You don't need to feel inspired, you just need to move. In this video, you'll learn how to break through laziness, self-doubt, and fear by forcing yourself to take action even when you don't feel like it. You'll discover real strategies to push past resistance and start building the momentum that changes everything. If you're tired of being stuck and ready to take control of your habits, your mindset, and your future, then let's dive in. Number 1, set a timer and start with just 5 minutes. Most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they never get started. They sit there, day after day, stuck in the same place, thinking about what they should be doing, what they could be achieving, and what life might look like if they actually took action. But they don't move. They wait. They delay. They let fear, comfort, and the weight of the task freeze them in place. They keep looking for motivation as if it'll walk through the door and carry them forward. And while they wait, their dreams drift further and further away. You don't need a burst of energy. You don't need to feel ready. You don't even need to figure everything out before you begin. What you need is to move just a little. Just enough to cross that first wall. And you do that by lowering the bar. Not lowering your standards, but lowering the pressure. Forget about doing it all. Forget about finishing. Just focus on the first 5 minutes. That's all. Set a timer. 5 minutes. Start. You'd be amazed how different your life could look if you just made 5 minutes count. When people hear this, they usually think it's too small to matter. But it's not about how long you work. It's about starting, because when you begin, something changes inside you. You interrupt the cycle. You disrupt the waiting game. You stop planning and you enter the world of doing. And that's where progress lives. That's where confidence builds. You don't find your power in the perfect plan. You find it in the smallest action. Sit in front of your goal, whether it's writing, studying, exercising, cleaning up your space, anything, and your brain will tell you how hard it's going to be. It will exaggerate. It will remind you of how tired you are, how long it's going to take, how far behind you've already fallen. And if you listen to that voice, you won't move. But when you say, only 5 minutes, you don't argue with your brain. You don't give it room to panic. You just act. Set a timer. 5 minutes. Make it real. Make it count. Not pretend action, not scrolling while half working, focused, fully present. It's not just about the work, it's about what it does to you. That timer becomes a signal. It's a promise to yourself that says, I'm not waiting another day. And when the timer goes off, guess what happens? Most times you won't want to stop. That's the secret. It's never been about motivation. It's momentum. 5 minutes builds momentum, and momentum can change everything. You can sit around all day hoping your feelings will change. You can wait for the right mood, the right weather, the right opportunity. But days turn into weeks. Weeks into months. And you look back, full of regret. You wonder where all the time went. The truth is, most people lose their future in those small daily choices. Those moments where they said, I'll do it later. They lost their chance, not because they couldn't do it, but because they wouldn't begin. Starting is always the hardest part. But 5 minutes, you can survive 5 minutes of anything. You can do 5 minutes tired. You can do 5 minutes frustrated. You can do 5 minutes even when you're not in the mood. That's what makes it powerful. It's not asking for your best. It's asking for any effort. That's how you train your mind. That's how you become someone who follows through. Not all at once. Not in big leaps, but through small, deliberate steps. The people who win in life aren't the ones who feel inspired all the time. They're the ones who learn how to move when they don't feel like it. They understand that action leads and emotion follows. They use structure instead of relying on chance. A timer might feel like a small tool, but it can be a powerful weapon against procrastination. It creates urgency. It gives you a clear boundary. And once you start, the fog lifts. Your thoughts get clearer. The fear shrinks, and the action becomes real. Your brain loves comfort. It wants you to stay where things feel familiar. But comfort doesn't build anything. It doesn't push you. It doesn't grow you. It just keeps you stuck. You weren't made to stay stuck. You were made to build something meaningful. But you don't build a meaningful life in giant leaps. You build it in daily efforts, and that effort starts with 5 minutes. There will be days when you're tired, days when nothing feels right, days when you want to shut down. That's not the time to give up. That's the time to show yourself who you really are. That's when you say, just 5 minutes. Because even on your worst days, you have 5 minutes. And if you can give yourself that much, you keep the flame alive. You keep showing up. And that consistency will carry you to places you never imagined. Don't try to be perfect. Don't wait until you have all the answers. Set the timer. Start the work. Let the act of showing up be your victory today. Let the habit grow from that small beginning. Great change doesn't happen in a single moment. It grows from simple actions repeated with commitment. And the first action, the one that unlocks the rest, is 5 minutes. Nothing fancy. Nothing overwhelming. Just a timer and a decision to move. What's waiting for you on the other side of that timer? Relief, clarity, progress, pride. You won't find those things sitting on the couch thinking about how much you wish things were different. You find them by standing up, setting the timer, and getting to work. No one else can do it for you. No one else can make that choice. But once you choose it, once you prove to yourself that you can take control, it gets easier to do it again tomorrow. Take the pressure off. Stop worrying about how much you have to do. Stop drowning in the big picture. Break the pattern. Set the timer. 5 minutes. That's your only job. And when you do that, when you really show up for yourself in that small window of time, you begin to rebuild your belief. You begin to create proof that you can be disciplined, that you can be focused, that you can be the kind of person who gets things done. This is how real change begins. Not with hype, not with feeling like a superhero, but with a timer and a choice to begin. Number 2, break big tasks into small daily action steps. There is a common problem that keeps most people trapped and overwhelmed. They look at a big goal or a huge project, and their mind instantly feels crushed by the size of it. The mountain looks too tall, the path too long. They want to do it all at once, or they want to wait until they have the perfect conditions. But the truth is, no one ever climbed a mountain in a single leap. No one ever built a business or changed their life by trying to do everything at once. The reason most people fail is because they try to swallow the whole elephant instead of eating it bite by bite. Big tasks have a way of paralyzing the mind. They create a fog that feels impossible to cut through. The brain doesn't like that kind of pressure. It wants to break things down into manageable pieces. That is where success begins. When a large goal is broken down into daily steps, it stops feeling like a burden and starts feeling like a journey. Small steps become manageable, achievable, and even exciting. Each step completed is a victory, a proof that progress is happening. The secret to forcing yourself to take action on something huge is to focus only on what you can do today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. It's about identifying 1 or 2 simple, clear actions you can take in the next 24 hours that move you closer to your goal. When you see your task in small, actionable chunks, it becomes much less scary. It becomes something you can handle, something you can control. When you control your work, your confidence grows. When your confidence grows, your action grows. The problem is, most people treat their big goals like a huge demand on their time and energy. They expect themselves to produce massive results immediately. They think that if they are not doing something big and dramatic, they are wasting time. But that mindset is a trap. Real progress is built on consistent, small daily actions. Those actions add up. Over days and weeks, they become momentum. Over months and years, they become transformation. Start by writing down the big goal. Then ask yourself what the smallest possible step you can take today to move forward is. Maybe it is drafting a single paragraph if you want to write a book. Maybe it is organizing one file if you want to clean your office. Maybe it is calling one person if you want to grow your network. When you narrow your focus to just one small step, you strip away the fear and the overwhelm. You give yourself permission to just do that one thing. It's manageable, clear, and simple. Once you complete that step, the next day you pick another small step. It may be slightly bigger or just a repeat of the previous step. The key is that you build habit and momentum. These small actions, repeated day after day, become unstoppable. The brain begins to expect action. The body gets into a rhythm. The mind stops resisting and starts cooperating. Breaking big tasks into daily steps also gives you a clear way to track your progress. Instead of feeling lost in the vastness of the goal, you see tangible results each day. Each step completed is evidence that you are moving forward. This feeling of accomplishment sparks motivation to keep going. Progress creates energy. Energy creates progress. It's a cycle you want to create in your life. When you divide your big task, you also reduce the risk of procrastination. Procrastination thrives on overwhelm and confusion. It grows when tasks feel too large or unclear. Small steps are clear and simple, so your mind has no reason to delay. The path is laid out in front of you, one piece at a time, and that clarity makes it easier to act. This strategy also helps to build discipline. Discipline is not about huge, dramatic efforts. It is about commitment to daily practice, no matter how small. When you commit to showing up every day and completing your small step, you develop a powerful habit. Habits are the foundation of success because they automate your progress. Once the habit is in place, your brain stops debating whether to act or not. Action becomes automatic. This approach is also psychologically rewarding. Each small success releases a bit of dopamine, the brain chemical associated with pleasure and motivation. This chemical boost helps reinforce the habit of taking action. Over time, your brain starts craving these small wins, making it easier and easier to keep moving forward. Big tasks often scare people because they seem like they require extraordinary effort or talent. Breaking the task into daily actions removes that pressure. It shows you that what matters is not doing everything today, but making consistent progress. This is a reality check many people need. No one achieves greatness by waiting for the perfect moment or trying to do everything at once. They do it by showing up day after day and doing what they can. There is also an important emotional benefit to this approach. When you break a big task into small steps, you avoid the feeling of defeat that comes with staring at a huge to-do list. You reduce frustration. You reduce anxiety. You create a sense of control and purpose. That emotional state is vital for long-term success because it keeps your spirit strong and your focus clear. Big goals have a way of tempting us to quit before we start. We think that if we cannot do it perfectly, or if we cannot do it all, then why bother at all? This black and white thinking kills progress. It ignores the fact that every journey starts with a single step. The key is not the size of the step. The key is taking the step. Breaking things down makes it easier to take that step again and again. When you break big tasks into small daily actions, you also create a structure for accountability. You can easily see what you have done and what you still need to do. This makes it harder to avoid action because the path is clear. You can measure your own progress. You can celebrate your own wins. This visibility is a powerful motivator. Another advantage is that small daily steps allow for flexibility. Life will throw distractions, emergencies, and setbacks. But when you work in small chunks, you can adjust without losing everything. You can scale up or down depending on the day. You can pause and restart without feeling overwhelmed. This adaptability is crucial for maintaining consistency over time. When facing a big task, it is easy to get stuck in planning and preparation. People can spend days or weeks researching or waiting for the perfect conditions. But action is the antidote to fear and doubt. Breaking big tasks into daily steps forces you to take immediate action. It stops endless planning and starts progress. Every great achievement in history is built on small actions compounded over time. No matter how large or complex the goal, it is the daily, consistent work that creates results. Whether it is building a company, learning a new skill, or improving your health, success comes from persistence in the little things. You can force yourself to take action by committing to just one small step every day. It will be uncomfortable at first. Your mind will resist. Your emotions will pull you back to old habits. But keep going. Each day you complete your step. You prove to yourself that you are capable. You build trust with yourself. And that trust is the foundation for bigger efforts. This approach teaches patience and perseverance. It shows that progress is not instant. It requires daily dedication. But when you stick to it, the results come. You build momentum that carries you forward even when motivation fades. You develop a rhythm that makes action natural and expected. Number 3, eliminate distractions before beginning any focused work. Distraction is the enemy of action. It sneaks in quietly and steals your energy, your time, and your focus without you even realizing it. Most people want to get things done, but their environment is working against them. Phones buzz, notifications pop up, background noise fills the room, and the mind jumps from one thought to another. When you try to start a task surrounded by distractions, your brain struggles to stay engaged. You feel scattered, frustrated, and exhausted before you even make a dent in your work. This is a reality millions face every day. They want to move forward, but their surroundings keep pulling them back. The first step in forcing yourself to take action is to recognize how much distractions are holding you back. They are not just small annoyances. They are powerful roadblocks that drain your willpower. Each time you stop what you are doing to check a message or glance at a notification, your brain loses focus. It takes time to get back on track, and these interruptions add up. By the end of the day, what should have been productive hours become a scattered mess of unfinished tasks and wasted potential. If you want to make progress, you have to create an environment that supports your focus. That means removing anything that tempts you away from your work. It sounds simple, but it requires discipline and planning. Turning off your phone notifications is a start. Putting your devices on silent or in another room helps avoid the constant lure of distractions. Closing unnecessary tabs on your computer keeps your screen clear. Even tidying your workspace can make a huge difference because clutter messes with your mind. When your environment is clean and organized, your brain can zero in on what matters. Many people underestimate how much their surroundings affect their ability to concentrate. A noisy room, television in the background, or constant interruptions from others can destroy any chance of deep work. This kind of fragmented attention is exhausting. It creates mental fatigue and reduces your capacity to produce quality results. If you truly want to force yourself to take action, protect your time and mental space fiercely. Treat it like a valuable resource because it is. This also means setting boundaries with people around you. If you live or work with others, explain your need for focus time. Ask for their support and understanding. Arrange specific hours when you are not to be disturbed. This creates a mental permission slip for you to focus without guilt or distraction. Without these boundaries, your energy will be pulled in many directions, making it nearly impossible to build momentum. When you prepare your environment properly, starting a task becomes easier. Your mind is not resisting constant interruptions. You can enter a state of flow where your work feels natural and almost effortless. This state is where your best ideas come, where progress accelerates, and where action becomes a habit. But flow requires a distraction-free zone. You must protect that zone fiercely if you want to see real results. Eliminating distractions is also about controlling your own habits. Social media and entertainment are designed to grab your attention and keep it. They create artificial rewards that hijack your brain's focus. It takes awareness to notice when you are slipping into these traps. Once you recognize this, you can decide to act differently. Turning off alerts, setting specific times for social media, or using apps that block distractions during work hours are practical ways to regain control. This is not about denying yourself pleasure or relaxation. It is about making choices that serve your bigger purpose. When you remove distractions during work time, you free yourself to be fully present. You give your mind a chance to focus deeply and produce meaningful work. You build momentum and confidence with every distraction-free session. That confidence motivates you to keep going. Another key is to prepare everything you need before you start working. Gather your tools, materials, and information ahead of time. When you have to stop to search for something, you break your focus. Those interruptions can be the difference between completing a task or abandoning it halfway. Planning ahead reduces friction and makes it easier to keep moving forward. Distractions also breed procrastination. When your environment is cluttered and noisy, your brain looks for an escape. It finds any excuse to delay work. This is why removing distractions is a direct way to fight procrastination. When there is nothing else pulling your attention, you have no choice but to engage with your task. The resistance that usually stops you begins to fade. Most people overestimate their ability to multitask. They think they can juggle checking messages while working or listen to music with lyrics while reading. But research shows that multitasking reduces productivity and impairs learning. It leaves you feeling scattered and drained. To force yourself to take action, you need to commit to single tasking in a distraction-free environment. Focus on one thing at a time. Give it your full attention. That is where real work happens. Creating a distraction-free environment is also an act of respect for yourself and your goals. It sends a message that your work matters, that your dreams deserve your full attention. When you treat your time and energy as precious, you begin to value your potential more. This shift in mindset can be a game changer in how consistently you take action. Sometimes eliminating distractions requires physical changes. Maybe you need to work in a different room or a quiet corner. Maybe you need to use noise-canceling headphones or play soft instrumental music. Maybe you need to schedule your most important work during times when interruptions are less likely. These practical adjustments create a space where your mind can focus deeply and your actions become more productive. Distractions do not just come from outside. Internal distractions like worries, doubts, or negative thoughts can also pull you away from action. When your mind is cluttered with what-ifs and fears, it becomes harder to focus. To combat this, practice mental preparation before work. Take a few moments to breathe deeply and clear your mind. Remind yourself of your purpose and your next step. This mental reset helps you enter work with clarity and determination. Remember that every distraction you remove increases your chance of success. Every interruption you avoid protects your momentum. Every moment of focused work builds your confidence. This cycle compounds over time, leading to massive growth. It is not about working harder or longer. It is about working smarter and with full attention. If you want to force yourself to take action, start by taking control of your environment. Make it a place that invites focus and supports your goals. Remove the noise, the clutter, and the interruptions. Create boundaries that protect your time. Prepare your tools and mind before you begin. When you do this, you create the conditions for success. You make it easier to start, easier to continue, and easier to finish. No matter how big your goals are, distractions will always be present. But you have the power to decide what deserves your attention. You have the ability to guard your focus fiercely. You have the strength to remove what pulls you away from action. Use that power. Make your environment your ally. When you do, you will find it easier to force yourself to take action. Your results will improve. Your confidence will grow. And your dreams will become closer to reality. Number 4, remind yourself why this action truly matters. There is a simple truth that almost everyone forgets when they struggle to take action. They lose sight of why the task is important to them. When the reason behind the work becomes unclear or distant, motivation vanishes. The mind begins to wander, doubts creep in, and excuses appear. Without a powerful purpose to fuel your effort, action feels pointless or burdensome. This is why so many people start strong but quickly fade away. They did not anchor their actions in a deep enough why. If you want to force yourself to take action, understanding and constantly reminding yourself why your work matters is essential. The hardest moments often come when you feel tired, distracted, or discouraged. In these times, the memory of your goal alone is not enough. You need to connect with the real meaning behind the action. Why are you doing this task? How does it fit into your larger dream? What impact will it have on your life or the lives of others? These questions are not abstract. They are practical tools that can reignite your drive. When the reason is strong, it creates a magnetic pull that draws you back to work even when everything inside you wants to quit. Many people chase goals that come from outside pressures. They do something because they feel they should, or because others expect it. But when the motivation is external, the action is fragile. It depends on approval or reward rather than inner conviction. True lasting action comes from within. It comes from a deeply personal reason that touches your emotions and values. This reason can be a desire for freedom, security, respect, or growth. It can be a promise to yourself or a responsibility to someone you love. Whatever it is, it must be clear, honest, and compelling. You can start by writing down your reasons. Make a list of all the benefits that will come from completing the task. Think about how your life will improve, how your feelings will change, and how your identity will shift. Imagine the relief, the pride, or the joy you will feel when you take action. This exercise helps to create a vivid picture of success that your mind can hold on to. It moves the task from something abstract to something real and urgent. It is also important to revisit these reasons regularly. The mind has a way of forgetting what matters when life gets busy or difficult. By reminding yourself often, you keep your purpose fresh and alive. You keep your emotions engaged. This emotional connection is critical because emotions drive behavior far more than logic. When you feel connected to your why, your brain releases chemicals that energize you. You become more resilient and focused. Sometimes the reasons behind your action will involve sacrifice. You may need to give up comfort, leisure, or instant gratification. This can be hard to accept, but when your why is strong enough, it makes these sacrifices meaningful. You see them as stepping stones rather than obstacles. The pain becomes temporary and worthwhile. The struggle turns into progress. On the other hand, if you cannot find a meaningful reason to do something, it might be time to reconsider that task or goal. Not every goal is right for every person. If the why is weak or unclear, forcing action becomes a heavy burden. In that case, it is better to pause, reflect, and choose a path that truly matters to you. Otherwise, you risk burning out or feeling stuck. Another key is to connect your daily actions to your identity. Ask yourself, who do I want to become by doing this work? When your actions reflect the person you aspire to be, they gain more significance. You are not just completing tasks. You are shaping your character and your future. This mindset shifts action from obligation to opportunity. It helps to visualize the outcome regularly. Picture yourself having achieved the goal. Notice the details, what you see, hear, and feel in that moment. This mental rehearsal prepares your mind and body to move toward that reality. It makes the action less abstract and more tangible. It also strengthens your belief in your ability to succeed. Fear and doubt can cloud your reasons, making them seem less important. When you feel discouraged, go back to your core why. Let it remind you of your strength and purpose. It is the anchor that holds you steady in the storm. Without it, the waves of uncertainty can sweep you away. Sharing your reasons with someone you trust can also help. Talking about why you want to take action reinforces your commitment. It creates accountability and encouragement. When others understand your why, they can support you in moments of weakness. This social connection is a powerful motivator. The world is full of distractions and excuses that try to pull you away from your work. But your why is the shield that protects you. It keeps you focused and determined. It reminds you that every small step counts. It transforms ordinary tasks into meaningful progress. You can force yourself to take action by reconnecting with your reasons every day. Let your why be the light that guides you through resistance. Let it be the voice that pushes you forward when your body wants to stop. Let it be the fire that burns away doubt and fear. Taking action without a clear why is like walking without direction. You may move, but you will feel lost. Taking action with a strong why gives you purpose and power. It turns effort into achievement. Remember that your reasons may evolve over time. Life changes and your goals may shift. That is normal. Stay in touch with your why and adjust it as needed. This keeps your motivation alive and relevant. In the end, reminding yourself why your action truly matters is the foundation of lasting success. It gives your effort meaning, your struggles purpose, and your victories joy. It is the difference between giving up and pushing through, between wishing and achieving. Hold your why close. Let it drive you. Let it inspire you. Let it force you to take action every single day. Number 5, commit publicly to increase personal follow-through. Most people want to follow through on their goals. They have good intentions and strong desires. Yet many fail because they keep their commitments private. They tell themselves they will work harder, be more consistent, or start tomorrow. But when no one else is watching, it is easy to make excuses or let motivation fade. The truth is that private goals lack the pressure and accountability needed to turn words into actions. Making a public commitment changes everything. It transforms a simple desire into a promise that carries weight and responsibility. If forcing yourself to take action feels difficult, sharing your commitment openly can become a powerful tool to push you forward. When you tell others about your goal, you create external accountability. Suddenly, your actions are no longer just for yourself. They become something you owe to the people who believe in you or are watching your progress. This adds a level of seriousness and urgency that private thoughts cannot match. You begin to act not just out of motivation, but also out of honor and respect. You don't want to disappoint others, and you certainly don't want to disappoint yourself in front of them. This social pressure drives follow-through like few other things can. People avoid sharing goals because they fear failure or judgment. They worry about what others might think if they do not succeed immediately. This fear is understandable, but it also traps them in a cycle of isolation and inaction. In reality, sharing your goals with the right people can bring support and encouragement, not criticism. When you open up, you invite others to root for you. You gain allies who will remind you of your commitment when your own resolve weakens. To use public commitment effectively, be clear and specific about what you plan to do. Vague promises like, "I want to get fit," or "I will work harder," do not hold the same power as, "I will exercise for 30 minutes every morning," or "I will complete one chapter of my book each day." When you state your goals publicly with details and deadlines, it becomes easier to measure progress. You know exactly what you need to do, and others can see your progress or hold you accountable if you falter. It is important to choose the right audience. Share your commitment with people who care about your growth and success. These could be close friends, family members, mentors, or even a community that shares your goals. When the people you tell understand your purpose and encourage you, their presence becomes a source of strength. Their questions, check-ins, or simple reminders can keep you on track. Public commitment also helps fight the common problem of procrastination. When you say out loud that you will take a certain action by a certain time, you create a deadline beyond your private intentions. This deadline creates urgency. Your brain responds by activating focus and energy. The discomfort of disappointing others creates a stronger push than internal motivation alone. You become more likely to start immediately rather than delay endlessly. One practical way to commit publicly is to announce your goals on social media. Posting your progress or intentions online exposes your commitment to a wide audience. This can increase motivation because you feel observed. You also invite feedback and encouragement from people you may not even know personally. However, be mindful of your audience and remember that the goal is to build support, not to seek approval. Another powerful method is to join or create accountability groups. These groups meet regularly to share progress, challenges, and next steps. Knowing that you will report your actions to a group builds pressure to perform. It also creates a shared experience where members lift each other up. This community can provide ideas, advice, and motivation during difficult moments. Writing your commitment down and sharing it with a mentor or coach adds another layer of accountability. When you declare your intentions in writing, it becomes a formal contract with yourself and others. You can refer back to it during times of doubt. This written record reminds you of your promise and the seriousness with which you made it. Committing publicly is not about bragging or showing off. It is about creating conditions that support your success. It is a strategic move that uses human nature to your advantage. Humans are social creatures. We thrive on connection and consistency. Public commitment taps into these instincts to help you follow through. It also helps build confidence. When you keep your promises in front of others, you prove to yourself that you are reliable. This builds trust in your own abilities. Each successful follow-through reinforces your identity as someone who takes action and achieves goals. That identity becomes a foundation for even bigger accomplishments. Failures or setbacks in public commitments can be difficult, but they are also opportunities. When you stumble, sharing what happened and how you will adjust can deepen trust and respect. It shows honesty and resilience. Learning to handle public setbacks gracefully strengthens your ability to keep going. Forcing yourself to take action requires more than just willpower. It requires creating a system that supports action even when motivation dips. Public commitment is one of the strongest systems available. It changes your mindset from "I might" to "I must." This shift is the difference between wishing for success and working for it. Even small commitments matter. You do not need to announce life-changing goals to benefit from this principle. Committing to finish a chapter, make a call, or complete a workout session publicly can build momentum. These small wins add up and increase your belief in your ability to take consistent action. The discomfort that comes with public commitment is a sign you are stepping out of your comfort zone. Growth rarely happens within safety and ease. When you make a promise in front of others, you expose yourself to vulnerability. But vulnerability is the birthplace of courage. Courage leads to action. Action leads to progress. Choosing not to commit publicly often keeps people stuck in cycles of delay and excuses. The privacy of intentions allows hesitation to flourish. If forcing yourself to take action feels like a battle, sharing your commitment can be a powerful ally. It shifts the burden from a private struggle to a shared journey. You can start today by identifying one important action you want to take. Make a clear statement about what you will do and by when. Share it with someone who will support you. Ask them to check in on your progress. Feel the weight and responsibility of your promise. Let it motivate you to begin immediately. Every time you keep a public commitment, you build trust in yourself and inspire others. This trust is the foundation of real progress. It creates momentum that is hard to stop. Public commitment turns vague intentions into real results. Taking action is rarely easy. It takes effort, focus, and sometimes sacrifice. But when you commit publicly, you tap into a powerful source of motivation beyond yourself. You create a network of accountability and encouragement. You give your goals the respect and seriousness they deserve. Holding yourself accountable in public is not about perfection. It is about persistence. It is about showing up consistently even when you do not feel like it. This consistency over time transforms your dreams from ideas into reality. The decision to commit publicly may feel uncomfortable at first. That discomfort is a sign of growth. Lean into it. Use it as fuel. When your commitment is visible, your action becomes inevitable. Your progress becomes real. Number 6. Use rewards to reinforce consistent daily effort. Many people underestimate how much their behavior is influenced by simple rewards. When trying to force yourself to take action, the brain responds strongly to immediate positive feedback. Without it, motivation often dwindles and efforts become half-hearted or stop altogether. One of the most effective ways to maintain momentum and push through resistance is to attach real, tangible rewards to your daily efforts. These rewards don't need to be extravagant or complicated. They simply have to be meaningful enough to spark desire and reinforce the habit of taking action every day. The reason rewards work is tied to how the brain's motivation system functions. When you complete a task or show up for your commitment, your brain releases chemicals like dopamine that create feelings of pleasure and satisfaction. These chemicals teach the brain to remember what led to those positive feelings and encourage repeating the behavior. By pairing action with a reward, you accelerate this learning process and make it easier to maintain consistent effort even when the task feels difficult or boring. Often people think they have to wait for some huge success to celebrate. That mindset causes delay and frustration. Real change comes from small, consistent steps, not occasional leaps. Each small victory deserves recognition. Creating a system of daily or regular rewards shifts your focus from the challenge itself to the benefit of completing it. It makes the process enjoyable rather than painful. A powerful way to use rewards is to design a simple system where you earn a reward after completing a set number of actions or days of effort. For example, after finishing 5 work sessions on a project, you might treat yourself to your favorite coffee or take a short break doing something you love. After 10 days of sticking to your routine, you could plan a special outing or buy something small that brings you joy. These rewards act like milestones that mark progress and keep your energy high. Another important point is that rewards must be immediate enough to connect the action and the pleasure. If the reward comes too late, the brain does not link it strongly with the behavior. This is why rewarding yourself right after a session or task is more effective than promising a big reward weeks later. The closer the reward follows the action, the stronger the motivation. Sometimes people feel guilty about rewarding themselves for work. They think they must suffer or sacrifice endlessly before they deserve any enjoyment. This mindset often backfires. When you deny yourself simple pleasures, your brain associates effort with pain, making it harder to start or continue. Allowing yourself small celebrations creates a positive emotional experience that supports long-term consistency. Rewards can take many forms depending on what matters to you. It might be a quiet moment of relaxation, a favorite snack, a walk outside, listening to a good song, or chatting with a friend. The key is that the reward feels genuinely satisfying. When it does, it becomes a strong magnet pulling you toward action, even on days when motivation is low. To make rewards work, you must also avoid using them as excuses to slack off. The reward is not a way to justify skipping work or cutting corners. It is a prize for true effort and commitment. This distinction keeps your progress honest and sustainable. You want to build a system where rewards increase the likelihood of taking action, not reduce it. Visualizing the reward in advance can also boost its effectiveness. When you imagine the pleasure you will feel after completing your work and enjoying the reward, your brain gets a preview of the positive emotions. This preview can serve as motivation to start and finish the task. It creates anticipation that energizes you into motion. As you build a habit of pairing action with rewards, your brain will start to crave both the work and the pleasure. Over time, this rewires your relationship with effort from one of resistance to one of attraction. You begin to expect good feelings after showing up, which strengthens your commitment naturally. Rewards do not always have to be material or time-based. They can also be social or emotional. Praising yourself for your effort, sharing your progress with a supportive friend, or writing down your accomplishments in a journal can serve as rewards. These practices create a sense of pride and satisfaction that fuels continued action. In contrast, the absence of rewards or negative self-talk can weaken motivation quickly. If you constantly criticize yourself or ignore your small wins, you create a mental environment that feels hostile and discouraging. This environment drains energy and makes forcing yourself to act much harder. Practicing kindness and recognizing progress fosters a mental state conducive to persistence. When rewards become part of your routine, you create a positive feedback loop. Action leads to reward, which leads to more action. This loop becomes self-sustaining and makes forcing yourself to take action less of a battle and more of a natural flow. Instead of relying on willpower alone, you harness the brain's natural learning system. Sometimes the challenge is figuring out what rewards will truly motivate you. Take time to experiment with different rewards and notice which ones excite you most. Pay attention to how your energy changes when you receive a reward after working. Use this information to fine-tune your reward system for maximum impact. There will be days when the reward feels small compared to the effort required. On those days, remind yourself that consistency matters more than intensity. Even small actions followed by small rewards build the foundation for bigger accomplishments. Trust the process and keep showing up. Using rewards is a strategy grounded in both psychology and real-life experience. It works because it respects human nature and the need for positive reinforcement. When applied wisely, it transforms the struggle of forcing action into a satisfying journey of progress. The goal is to create a lifestyle where effort feels rewarding, not punishing. This shift changes how you approach work and challenges. You start looking forward to the sense of accomplishment and the small celebrations that come with it. That anticipation powers you forward even through obstacles. Remember that the journey of taking action is ongoing. No one maintains high motivation every moment. That is why building external support through rewards is crucial. It keeps your engine running when your internal tank feels empty. Design your reward system with intention and purpose. Make it enjoyable and consistent. Allow yourself to feel the satisfaction fully after each success. This practice builds confidence, energy, and a deep sense of fulfillment that fuels further action. Taking action is about building momentum, and rewards are the fuel that keeps that momentum alive. Use them to your advantage. Let them remind you that effort is valuable and worth celebrating. This mindset makes forcing yourself to act less of a chore and more of a habit you want to maintain. The power of rewards lies in their ability to create pleasure connected to progress. When pleasure and progress join forces, they create a powerful combination that propels you forward. This combination is your secret weapon in the battle to take consistent action every day. Number 7. Do the hardest task first every single day. There is a common struggle that almost everyone faces. When you start your day, you often feel a pull toward comfort or avoidance. The brain naturally wants to take the easiest path to avoid discomfort or stress. The hardest task usually carries the most weight, the most fear, or the most uncertainty. It is tempting to push it aside, thinking you will get to it later. But what happens most of the time is that it never gets done, or it gets done with less energy and poorer quality because you have wasted your best moments on easier or less important things. This pattern is the biggest enemy of progress and success. The truth is that the hardest task is the one that holds the most power to move your life forward. It is the task that challenges your limits and requires you to summon strength, courage, and focus. Avoiding it feeds procrastination, self-doubt, and frustration. Facing it first every morning rewires your mindset to one of discipline and accomplishment. When you tackle that tough task right away, you disarm the biggest obstacle standing in your way. You give yourself a deep sense of victory that carries through the rest of the day. It is natural to feel resistance when thinking about the hardest task. The mind often bombards you with reasons why you cannot or should not do it now. It tells you you need more time, more energy, or more preparation. That voice is deceptive because it is rooted in fear and comfort-seeking rather than reality. You have everything you need to start right now. Action is the antidote to fear. Movement creates momentum. The first step, no matter how small, weakens the power of hesitation. Doing the hardest task first is not about being perfect. It is about making progress. Starting imperfectly but consistently builds confidence. The very act of starting breaks down mental barriers. Once you begin, your brain shifts from worry to problem solving. Your energy shifts from fear to focus. You begin to see solutions and possibilities instead of obstacles. When you complete the hardest task early, your sense of achievement builds a foundation for the rest of your day. You carry this feeling of success into other tasks, making them easier and less stressful. The weight that once felt unbearable becomes lighter. You no longer need to waste mental energy thinking about the difficult task because it is already done. This frees your mind for creativity, collaboration, and other important activities. On the other hand, delaying the hardest task causes a mental drain that reduces your effectiveness all day. You might find yourself distracted, anxious, or overwhelmed by what you have avoided. This affects not only your work, but also your mood and relationships. The longer you wait, the bigger the task grows in your mind. This is why acting early has such a powerful psychological impact. Preparing to do the hardest task first requires a clear understanding of what that task is. Many people mistake busy work or routine chores for their most important work. Take the time to identify which activity will move you closer to your goals and challenge you the most. Prioritize it above everything else. Treat it as non-negotiable. Creating a routine where you start with your toughest challenge trains your mind and body for discipline. It conditions you to face discomfort head-on rather than avoid it. This discipline becomes a muscle that strengthens over time. You become someone who meets challenges instead of running from them. This quality separates successful people from those who remain stuck. It is helpful to approach the hardest task with a specific plan. Break it down into manageable steps if it feels overwhelming. Focus on completing one step at a time with full attention. Celebrate the completion of each step as a mini win. This approach reduces fear and increases confidence. You gain clarity and control over what once seemed too big to handle. The environment you create can also support doing the hardest task first. Remove distractions, silence notifications, and create a workspace that encourages focus. Set a time when you are most alert and energized to attack this task. This intentional preparation sends a message to your brain that this work matters deeply. Sometimes the hardest task involves dealing with people, making tough decisions, or confronting uncomfortable truths. Avoiding these situations creates stress that accumulates and harms your emotional health. Facing them first lightens your emotional load and creates space for calm and clarity. This leads to better relationships and better results. There is a powerful psychological reward that comes from knowing you did the hardest thing while others might still be procrastinating. This builds your self-respect and inner strength. You stop doubting your ability to handle difficulties. You develop resilience that carries over into all areas of life. This resilience becomes the foundation for achieving even bigger goals. Consistency is key. Doing the hardest task first once in a while is not enough to change your life. You must commit to making it a daily habit. Over time, the cumulative effect transforms your mindset and productivity. You build a reputation with yourself as someone reliable, focused, and unstoppable. It helps to reflect regularly on how this habit changes your experience. Notice how your stress decreases, your confidence grows, and your accomplishments multiply. Use these reflections to deepen your commitment and inspire yourself to keep pushing forward even on hard days. People who master the practice of doing the hardest task first gain a sense of control over their lives. They stop feeling like victims of circumstance. They create momentum that propels them through challenges and opens new doors. This habit is a secret weapon that turns fear into fuel and struggle into success. Remember, the path to success is not about waiting for the right moment or perfect conditions. It is about making a decision each day to face what is hardest and most important first. This simple but profound choice builds a life of purpose, achievement, and growth. Take the courage to start each day with your toughest challenge. Feel the power of accomplishment surge through you as you complete it. Let this feeling guide you into every other task and interaction. Build a momentum that no obstacle can stop. This habit is the foundation of turning intention into reality. Number 8. Change your environment to trigger fast action. There is a harsh truth that many people do not fully recognize. Your surroundings have more power over your actions than you might realize. When you want to take quick and focused action, the environment you find yourself in either fuels that drive or drains it completely. Many struggle to push forward because their space is cluttered, noisy, or full of distractions. It is a constant battle to stay on track, and it feels like an uphill climb every time you try to work. The environment, whether you notice it or not, shapes your mental state and energy. If your surroundings are not set up to support your goals, your motivation struggles to keep up no matter how hard you try. It is easy to think that motivation comes from within alone. You tell yourself to be strong, to resist distractions, to push through laziness. While inner strength is important, the truth is, your environment can either make that strength easier to summon or turn it into a constant fight. You want to stop wasting willpower and start using your space as an ally rather than an enemy. When your environment triggers action quickly, it becomes much easier to start and keep going. Your mind learns to associate that space with focus and productivity, creating an automatic response to begin working. Changing your environment is not about moving to a fancy office or buying expensive equipment. It is about making deliberate adjustments that encourage you to act now. It could mean clearing a desk that is covered in clutter so your eyes are not constantly distracted. It could mean turning off your phone or putting it in another room so you're not tempted to check it every few minutes. It might require finding a quiet corner away from the noise of others or setting up a specific spot that you use only for your most important work. These small but strategic changes send a signal to your brain that this space is for focus and action. Many people underestimate how much their physical surroundings influence their mental state. When you walk into a messy room or a space filled with distractions, your brain is bombarded with competing stimuli. This overload reduces your ability to concentrate. You might feel overwhelmed before you even begin. On the other hand, a clean and organized space lowers stress and helps you find your rhythm quickly. You waste less time searching for materials or getting sidetracked by random things. Your energy is reserved for the task at hand. Lighting and comfort also play a crucial role in how fast you can act. Working in a dim or uncomfortable place drains your vitality and slows your mind. Bright, natural light energizes you and keeps you alert. Comfortable seating and the right temperature make it easier to settle into work without physical distractions pulling your focus away. When your body feels good in your environment, your mind can follow naturally. Another key factor is reducing noise or irrelevant conversations around you. Constant interruptions or background noise fragment your attention and make it difficult to get into a flow state. Noise-canceling headphones, quiet rooms, or even soft instrumental music can create a buffer against distractions. This protective barrier around your focus zone allows you to work deeply and act quickly without hesitation. Changing your environment is also about creating clear boundaries between work and leisure. Many people struggle to start because their space blends these areas together. When your couch or bedroom doubles as your office, your brain mixes rest with work, creating confusion and resistance. Separating these zones physically or mentally helps condition your mind to switch gears faster. When you enter your work zone, your brain knows it is time to act. When you move to your relaxation area, your mind knows it is time to rest. This separation increases your ability to begin work immediately when needed. Sometimes the environment needs a motivational boost through visual reminders. Posting your goals, deadlines, or inspirational quotes where you can see them frequently helps keep your focus sharp. These visual cues act like triggers that remind your brain what matters and why action is urgent. When you see your purpose clearly, it becomes easier to overcome inertia and start moving. The people around you also form part of your environment. Being surrounded by individuals who support your goals and understand your need for focus can accelerate your ability to take action. Conversely, spending time with people who distract, discourage, or pull you away from your work slows your progress. If possible, arrange to work near positive influences or set boundaries to protect your time and energy from negativity. Changing your environment is a form of self-respect. It sends a message to yourself that your goals deserve a space designed for success. It acknowledges that your time is valuable and that you will do what it takes to create conditions where action flows naturally. This attitude creates a powerful momentum that builds each day. Acting fast is often about habit, and environment shapes habit more than you might imagine. When your surroundings consistently support quick starts and sustained effort, your brain learns to expect this pattern. Starting work becomes automatic instead of a constant battle. You save mental energy for the work itself instead of wasting it on fighting distractions. If you find yourself procrastinating often, examine your environment carefully. What in your space is pulling your attention away? What could you change to create a clearer path to starting? Often, a small tweak can make a huge difference in how quickly you move from thinking about work to actually doing it. Environment changes also reduce the risk of decision fatigue. The more choices you have about where and how to work, the more your brain tires out. Having a designated space with minimal options simplifies the decision to act. Your brain uses less energy deciding and more energy doing. The power of environment extends beyond work into other areas of life where action is needed. If you want to exercise regularly, create a space that invites movement. If you want to eat healthier, keep your kitchen stocked with good choices and remove temptations. When the environment reflects the behavior you want, action becomes easier and more natural. It is important to remember that changing your environment is a process. You may need to experiment to find what works best for you. Pay attention to how different settings affect your ability to start quickly. Adjust as necessary until you discover the space that feels like a launchpad for action. This is not about perfection. It is about creating a practical setup that supports your goals today. Each adjustment you make is a step toward reducing resistance and increasing speed in your work. Over time, these steps build a system that pushes you toward your dreams instead of holding you back. Taking control of your environment is taking control of your life. It removes excuses, and excuses are the biggest enemies of action. When your surroundings empower you to start fast, you stop waiting for motivation or energy. You simply act because the conditions invite you to do so. The decision to change your environment is a powerful choice that shows you are serious about progress. It breaks the cycle of delay and hesitation. It lays the groundwork for consistent, focused, and effective action every day. The environment is not just a backdrop. It is a tool you can shape to unlock your potential and accelerate your success. Number 9. Stop overthinking and move your body immediately. There is a common enemy that keeps many people stuck and unable to act. It is the endless spinning of thoughts that never lead to real progress. Overthinking can feel like a mental storm, waves of doubt and fear crashing non-stop, draining energy and hope. It tricks you into believing that action must wait until you feel ready, until the perfect plan forms, or until every detail lines up just right. But reality hits hard. No one ever feels completely ready. The window to start narrows every minute spent caught in that loop of hesitation. You can think your way into paralysis, or you can break the cycle by forcing your body to move first. Movement sparks the mind into action. Most people do not realize how tightly the mind and body are connected. When your thoughts run wild and stall your progress, your body stays still and tense. Your mind grows more restless, but your body stays frozen in place. This freeze feeds the cycle of overthinking. The quickest way out is to disrupt that pattern with immediate physical action. You do not need to wait for clarity or confidence. Just begin with any movement. Stand up, take a walk, stretch your arms, or do a few simple exercises. Moving your body sends a powerful signal to your brain that it is time to switch from thinking to doing. Physical movement triggers chemical changes in the brain. It releases dopamine and endorphins, which boost mood and increase focus. These natural chemicals sharpen your ability to think clearly and reduce anxiety. When you feel stuck in an overwhelming cloud of thoughts, moving can help clear the fog. It is like shaking off the mental cobwebs. This physical reset makes your mind more ready to tackle tasks with energy and clarity. Movement also increases blood flow, delivering oxygen to your brain. More oxygen means better brain function. It fuels creativity and problem-solving ability. When you are stuck in overthinking, the brain does not get the fuel it needs to work efficiently. Getting your body moving wakes up the brain and prepares it to act. Even a few minutes of motion can spark new ideas and a fresh perspective. Many people hesitate to move because they think action must always be big or planned. This is not true. Small movements are enough to break the cycle. Taking a few steps around the room or doing some simple stretches gets the process started. The goal is to interrupt the pattern of sitting and thinking without doing. When you move first, you create momentum that makes it easier to continue working. It is important to remember that overthinking is often fueled by fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of making the wrong choice. These fears create hesitation and cause you to freeze. Moving your body acts as a form of courage. It breaks the spell fear has over you. Instead of sitting and worrying about what might happen, you take control by moving forward physically. This action reduces the power fear has to stop you. Stopping overthinking does not mean ignoring your thoughts or pretending they do not exist. It means managing them by changing your state. When thoughts swirl uncontrollably, movement gives you the space to calm the mind. After moving, your thoughts become more organized and easier to handle. You can face problems with a clearer head. Another key point is that movement leads to small wins. Starting any physical action is a victory against procrastination. Each time you choose to move rather than sit frozen in doubt, you strengthen your ability to act under pressure. These small wins build confidence. Confidence fights overthinking by proving you can take steps forward even when uncertain. It is easy to get caught in the trap of waiting for motivation. You wait for the right mood, enough energy, or the perfect idea to strike, but motivation rarely appears on its own. It follows action. You create motivation by moving your body first. Movement ignites your internal drive and helps you find momentum. Without action, motivation remains a distant hope. You can build a habit around this principle. Whenever you feel stuck in thought, commit to moving your body immediately. This habit rewires your brain to respond quickly to hesitation with physical action. Over time, this becomes automatic. Your body becomes the trigger that shifts your mind from thinking to doing. This natural rhythm saves time and energy by preventing long periods of stuckness. Movement also helps reduce stress caused by overthinking. When thoughts spiral out of control, your body often responds with tension or discomfort. Movement releases that tension and lowers stress hormones. You feel calmer and more capable. This calmness is crucial for sustained focus and clear decision-making. Sometimes overthinking results from sitting too long. Long periods of inactivity slow your metabolism and brain function. Movement reverses these effects by activating your body systems. It energizes you and makes it easier to sustain action for longer periods. Moving before work is not just about breaking thought patterns. It is about preparing your whole system to perform well. It is helpful to combine movement with deep breathing. Deep breaths increase oxygen intake and relax the nervous system. When combined with physical movement, deep breathing enhances the reset effect. This combination makes it easier to release mental clutter and get ready to work. Stopping overthinking by moving immediately is not just a technique for productivity. It is a life skill that improves resilience. Life constantly throws challenges that require quick decisions and action. Training yourself to move through hesitation prepares you for these moments. You become someone who acts decisively rather than getting stuck in endless rumination. If you find yourself frozen by overthinking, observe how your body feels. Notice tension, tightness, or restlessness. These sensations are signals that your body needs movement. Responding to these signals with immediate action helps you regain control. You do not have to wait for motivation or clarity. Movement is the first step out of the stuck place. The principle applies to all kinds of tasks, whether it is starting work, making a phone call, or addressing a difficult conversation. Moving your body first breaks the pattern of delay. Action does not have to be perfect or complete immediately. The important part is that you begin. Beginning rewires your brain and sets the stage for progress. Many who master this habit find that over time they experience fewer moments of paralysis. Their minds become trained to shift quickly from thinking to doing. They reduce wasted time spent in worry and indecision. This efficiency increases their productivity and reduces stress. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is the ability to stop overthinking and act now. Movement is the tool to unlock that gift. It bridges the gap between intention and execution. It reminds you that action is always possible, even when your mind says otherwise. Developing this skill changes how you face challenges. You gain confidence in your ability to handle uncertainty and move forward anyway. This confidence is the foundation of success in any endeavor. Without it, progress slows and frustration builds. Make a commitment to yourself right now. The next time your mind gets caught in overthinking, do not wait to feel ready or perfect. Move your body immediately. Stand up, walk around, stretch, or do whatever physical action you can. This simple step starts the chain reaction that leads to momentum and achievement. Movement is the key to unlocking your potential and forcing yourself to take action. Number 10. Learn to embrace discomfort to grow beyond your limits. Most people avoid discomfort at all costs. They seek comfort as if it is the ultimate goal. The truth is, uncomfortable moments are inevitable in life. Pain, uncertainty, and struggle are parts of any meaningful journey. The harsh reality many face is that avoiding discomfort leads to stagnation. If you want to grow, you must learn to embrace discomfort instead of fearing it. Growth lives outside the walls of comfort. The natural reaction when discomfort shows up is to resist it. You try to turn away from difficult emotions or situations. This resistance may feel like protection in the short term. It numbs the pain and keeps anxiety at bay. But over time, resistance builds walls that trap you in the same place. Growth cannot happen while you hold tightly to comfort. Real progress requires leaning into the discomfort, learning from it, and pushing through it. Life rewards those who take discomfort as a signal, not a stop sign. When faced with fear or pain, you can either let it freeze you or use it to fuel your transformation. Discomfort shows you where your limits are. It challenges you to stretch beyond what feels easy or safe. This stretching is where true growth happens. Without discomfort, you remain trapped by your current abilities and mindset. The biggest mistake is confusing discomfort with danger. Discomfort is often mistaken for harm, so people retreat. But discomfort is simply your body and mind adjusting to something new or challenging. It is temporary and necessary. Danger is permanent damage or real threat. Growth requires navigating discomfort without falling into real harm. This distinction is critical for embracing the process. You cannot grow by staying in the comfort zone. That zone is a trap disguised as safety. Inside it, you recycle the same habits, thoughts, and behaviors. Your skills plateau, your vision shrinks. When you step outside that zone, you expose yourself to new experiences, ideas, and opportunities. This exposure ignites growth. The discomfort you feel is the cost of expansion. Discomfort also builds resilience. Each time you face difficult moments and push through, your capacity to handle future challenges increases. You become stronger mentally, emotionally, and sometimes physically. This strength allows you to keep moving forward even when things get tough. Resilience is not something you are born with. It is developed through repeated encounters with discomfort. Embracing discomfort requires a mindset shift. Instead of asking why this is happening to you, ask what you can learn from this moment. This question turns discomfort into a teacher rather than an enemy. It opens the door to curiosity and problem solving. Learning from discomfort transforms setbacks into stepping stones. Every challenge holds a lesson if you are willing to look for it. Another reason people avoid discomfort is the fear of failure. Failure feels painful and embarrassing, but failure is often the gateway to success. When you try new things, failure is part of the process. Each failure carries information that refines your approach. The discomfort of failure is temporary. The regret of never trying lasts much longer. Embracing discomfort includes accepting failure as a natural and necessary part of growth. Physical discomfort also plays a role in personal development. Many avoid exercise or physical challenges because it feels hard or unpleasant. But physical challenge improves endurance, health, and confidence. When you push your body beyond comfort, you teach your mind how to manage discomfort in other areas of life. The body and mind learn resilience together through physical trials. Discomfort helps identify your true values and priorities. When you face tough choices or situations, discomfort reveals what matters most to you. It forces you to make decisions that align with your deeper goals instead of short-term comfort. This alignment strengthens your commitment and focus. Discomfort becomes a compass pointing to what deserves your energy. Practicing discomfort regularly builds a habit of courage. Courage is not the absence of fear or discomfort. It is acting despite them. When you embrace discomfort daily, you train your mind to respond with bravery instead of avoidance. This habit of courage creates momentum. You become someone who naturally confronts challenges and grows from them. To embrace discomfort effectively, start small. Push yourself slightly beyond your comfort in daily situations. This might mean having difficult conversations, learning a new skill, or waking up earlier. Each small step expands your capacity for discomfort. These increments build confidence and prepare you for bigger challenges. The key is consistent practice over time. Self-compassion is also essential while embracing discomfort. Growth is not about brutal self-punishment. It is about kindness combined with challenge. You allow yourself to struggle and make mistakes without losing faith in your potential. Self-compassion supports endurance during hard times and encourages continued effort. Discomfort also teaches patience. Growth does not happen overnight. It unfolds gradually through persistent effort in uncomfortable moments. When you learn to stay present with discomfort without rushing or resisting, you develop patience. Patience helps you keep going when results seem slow or invisible. Many great leaders and innovators attribute their success to embracing discomfort. They willingly took risks, faced criticism, and endured failures. They saw discomfort as a signal they were moving in the right direction. Their stories show that discomfort is the price of achievement and mastery. If you want to reach higher levels, discomfort is your constant companion. In practical terms, you can reframe discomfort by reminding yourself it is temporary and purposeful. Visualize the benefits that lie beyond the discomfort. Imagine the skills, strength, and confidence you will gain. This visualization motivates you to hold on during difficult moments. The mind responds to clear, positive images of the future. It is also helpful to develop a support system. Surround yourself with people who understand the value of discomfort in growth. Their encouragement and example provide strength when you struggle. Sharing your experiences reduces isolation and normalizes discomfort as part of the journey. Discomfort becomes easier to bear when you view it as an opportunity rather than punishment. This perspective shifts your entire experience. Instead of shrinking away, you lean in. You become an active participant in your own development. This empowerment fuels motivation and perseverance. Remember that growth is not a destination, but a lifelong process. You will face discomfort repeatedly throughout life. Each new challenge requires you to embrace discomfort again and again. Developing this skill prepares you to face uncertainty with grace and confidence. It helps you adapt and thrive in changing circumstances. When discomfort shows up, greet it with curiosity instead of fear. Ask what it is trying to teach you or where it is pushing you to grow. This curiosity creates a sense of control and reduces resistance. You no longer see discomfort as a threat, but as a guide. In conclusion, embracing discomfort is essential to unlock your full potential. It requires courage, patience, and practice. Discomfort signals growth.